before we start this, I would like to thank XYZ and Welgo, thanks to who we were able to show the film. The film will be released in theaters in the US on August 10th and in the Philippines on August 1st. So you guys really are the first to watch the film ever. Alright, and I believe Anne and Brandon, that's actually the first time you're watching the movie, am I right? What are your first impressions?
I cried. Yeah.
I cried with Anne on certain parts. Because we didn't get to see everybody's scene, and I can't, yeah.
Wow, yeah. And so Eric, we followed your career for a few years. We showed quite a few of your films. You know how big a fan I am of Honor Thy Father in particular, and Seclusion as well. You've tackled the horror genre before, erotica. So action is kind of new in a way for you. So did you imagine it was going to be this difficult to make the film? We mentioned a little bit about
we all didn't know how hard this film is gonna be like. Not to mention, we did. Of course, we're trying to be ambitious. So, for example, that whole rain, no rain, rain, no rain. We thought it was gonna be easy with people punching each other in the rain. It's not easy. It's not easy. So those are just one of those cases in the movie, and especially we're dealing with a crowd. There's not a lot of one-on-one fights. It's mostly with a lot of people there, a lot of extras, but the extras have to act because they're not necessarily just extras. A lot of them even have to be stunt people. So it's just hard to put them all together. What surprised me is that in my other films, the simpler scenes, the extras would complain. Here, like that whole scene of Anne in the rooftop, we shot that for 3 days, 5-day rehearsals, in complete cast and crew. No one can be absent. On the 5 rehearsals, when you're there in the first rehearsal, you cannot miss the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, because otherwise she'll gonna miss her spot, her timing, etc. We did that for 3 days. Anne would shoot that for maybe 17 days in the first, 17 takes in the first day. Second day was maybe 21, and then we still didn't get a good take. And then on the third day, we had a serendipitous moment. It was 3 a.m. and I was waiting for a good take, and I was thinking, fuck, I don't think I'm gonna get this shot. And I was thinking already of ways to, Atomic Blonde was cutting in between walls and posts, right? Like mixing the takes. So I was thinking of doing that as well on post-prod. Maybe shoot Anne going up the roof and then cut. Shoot her kicking somebody and then cut. Simultaneously, while Anne was waiting for the setup, she was also thinking, this is just bloody. The whole shoot is just bloody. And 2 takes after, we got it. We got the take.
Yeah, the sequence is quite extraordinary. A 3-minute long take for it. So, can you also describe the shoot of that take for us?
I guess that's why I'm so emotional. When you finally see all the hard work come to life and piece together with the music and everything, it's just so overwhelming to see all the hard work and how it's awesome. Thank you, Derek. Yeah, it was so hard. I'll be honest, on the first day when we did 17 takes, I was vomiting I was just so tired. Everyone was still getting used to the choreograph, even if we had rehearsed it for 4 or 5 days. So it was a struggle with all the elements, the water, the rain, the roof being slippery, missed punches, squibs not going off. It was tough, but I think what really, really helped everyone on set, everyone was determined to perfect that one shot. No matter what it took, no matter how long it took, we were all committed in getting that one shot for Direk Erik.
Right. Brandon, do you want to elaborate a little bit on the making of the film as well? You have your take on that?
It was very hard. Very, 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 very hard. The estero scene where I'm in the water,
Yeah.
I was in water waist high, I think for 3 days straight. And it was about
I have a funny story on that. We were shooting the second day of the shoot, and then we were missing the people he's gonna fight with. Every time we call them out, okay, come back on the set. They're not coming back. So I was getting pissed. So I told the AD, look for them. Probably they're sleeping. Wake them up. And then the AD comes rushing in. Rick, I'm bringing one of the guys, and there's a lot of them. I'm just gonna show you something. And then they lift up the shirt and the pants. Everyone had rushes, as in lots of rushes. And I was thinking, is Brandon also itchy? No, so far it's fine. Right? So we were tracing it. Is the water clean? Did we scrub it? Did you put the chlorine in it? Etc., etc. Then we found out the whole fight scene, the whole estero, above it is a huge tree with, the caterpillars that are itchy. And since the rain is on top of it, it keeps on going to the pool. So
good times. Good times.
So it begs the question, so there's so many hardships, so much hardship making the film. Why this film and why now?
It's been right after we did On the Job, XYZ was asking us if we can do another action film. And On the Job wasn't an action film, it was more of a thriller. And I said, we don't do martial arts in the Philippines. When we see somebody, it's either we stab them or but we don't do like, karate stuff. Of course, we have Filipino martial arts, but nobody uses them. And then, so we moved on to do Honor Thy Father. I did a horror film. And then eventually that idea on the Job, where we got stuck in the middle of a slum area, it bugged me. And so we started like throwing around, pitching the story around and see if somebody would co-finance it with us. And eventually, of course, Viva Entertainment came in. I wanted, the action film we're doing is, of course, when you do action film, there's thousands of action films that have been done. And of course, you're trying to find your position and your niche in it. And number one, I don't want it overly choreographed fight scenes. We looked at a lot of YouTube videos of people fighting. Whoever's seen, a lot of Filipinos are here, the Australia-Philippine boxing in the basketball court, right? We don't understand what they're doing. No one's hitting anyone, but everyone's just in a panic. And so that's what we're trying to approximate without looking sloppy. Of course, it should still be choreographed, but so that was the attempt. And we're hoping that, of course, we're not doing John Wick, so everybody will be thinking, oh, it's not John Wick. But that's the attempt. I feel that it's a lot more dangerous. There's a lot more emotion into it rather than the ballet of the Shaolin or the Kung Fu. So I think I got into that riff. I started enjoying the action. I hate action, actually, because it's hard to shoot. It's not fun to shoot it. The most enjoyable scenes are the dialogue sequences for me, because I get to talk to actors, I get to motivate them. With action scenes, stab, cut, okay, next shot, hit him with the head, cut. It's boring, it's tedious.
Right. Well, I want to ask you both the same question. Why this film? Why now? And you have a long career. You spent 21 years, right, on screens. Right, quite a long career with. So that's quite a drastic turn. You made a career from very different roles before. So why Erik Matti? Why Bust? And why now?
Well, that's actually quite a funny story because being 21 years in the industry, you, as an actor, you always feel hungry to get roles that will challenge you and will want you to improve even more in your craft. And I was waiting for so long. I didn't do a film for 2 years because all the scripts that were falling into my lap weren't anything that I felt challenged me or inspired me. And so finally, when I spoke to our head of Viva Films, of course they kind of told me off, like, why aren't you doing any films? And I said, because I haven't been inspired to do anything, I'm not challenged. And that's when he said, well, I was just in Hong Kong with Vera and Erik, and they have this action film, would that interest you? I'm like, what's the story? Then he called Vera and Erik, and I got the pitch over the phone.
I didn't know she was on the other side.
And the rest was history. It was an instant yes, because I knew this was something that was outside of my comfort zone. It's something I'd never done before, and I wanted to take up the challenge in doing the genre of action.
Great. Do you think you're gonna do more? Yes. Thanks. Thanks, Rob. Do you think you're going to tackle more action roles now, more action films?
Yes.
Great. Looking forward to that. And Brandon, same question for you. It's your first film, actually. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. It's my very first film. Very first film. So I won the world championship at one championship, maybe two. I'm sorry, I fight for a living too, so sometimes I get confused. 2 or 3 years ago, I won the championship belt, and then I think I defended. And being over in Asia, in Southeast Asia, and being back in the Philippines is where I've always wanted to be anyways, I decided to reach out and speak with anyone, an agent, talent, people in the industry, in the entertainment world, and said, I just let it be known that I would like to pursue an acting career after fighting. You know, I'd really like to get good and understand the art and work my way through the ranks. I talked to Mr. Don Monteverde and Vera and Erik Matti. I was in the Philippines at the time, and they were in Las Vegas. Long story short, I asked them if they were serious about meeting up. They said yes, fly in. I left the Philippines early a week. They left Las Vegas early a couple days. We met in LA. We just talked. At first, we didn't talk about any movies or projects or anything. We just kind of talked and they wanted to see what my dreams were, what my aspirations were to move to the Philippines. That evening, we came back, we had a contract. And that evening, they were saying, hey, so we already have a film lined up for you. I think it's perfect for you. I think you're gonna be perfect for the role. I was like, wait, I thought we were gonna practice. Wait, I thought. And then, no, don't worry, Erik. No, don't worry, I promise. This is good. You're good. Oh, and the lead is Miss Ann Curtis. Huh?
And she was training that time.
First movie? Okay, game. When do I have to move out? So I moved out to the Philippines maybe 6 to 7 months before the film, actually. And we started training, started doing acting workshops, started practicing reading lines, and the rest is history.
Right. Is drama difficult? Acting is the first role.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought going from fighting, being a mixed martial artist, transitioning to entertainment would be very easy. I found out it's actually very, very hard. It is an art form. There's a huge gap that I'm trying to close every day. And the art, and even just watching Miss Ann on film, sometimes when she just looks, it tells a story when she's just looking at you. So I understand there's a process, but I'm very much enjoying this entertainment field. I love acting. I love being in the crowd. I love challenging myself and see if I can do it better on the next take. And I figure this will be my full-time passion after MMA. And the reason why I have to say that is because some people think that I'm doing this now. I'm not fighting anymore. I'm not defending my belt. I am the champ. I will be fighting this year. I'll be defending my belt. But please look forward. I look forward to more projects, anything and everything that I can do in learning. So I really, really appreciate it. And again, and I say this all the time, that Erik, and thank you guys so much for helping me skip so many steps and jumping in. Thank you. Head first into the fire.
I understand you and Erik are going to San Diego in a few days for Comic-Con. You, sir, are from San Diego, am I correct?
I'm from Virginia originally, then I moved to California for about 12 years, so Comic-Con, I'm a nerd, I've been going every year. Listen, I'm such a nerd, I was making our own passes so we could sneak in. Then Comic-Con started getting busier, so they started checking passes for real. So I had a friend, long story short again, he was a DC Marvel artist, and he started signing autographs, he started doing drawings and signing and have a booth at Comic-Con. So he asked me at the time if I wouldn't mind coming signing autographs at his booth to bring more people and help traffic. So I went from sneaking in to signing autographs to now I'm on a panel with Vera and Erik.
Yeah!
Super nerd. I'm a super nerd, and I do shop at Comic-Con because I am a nerd. I love all the toys there.
We're fresh off the ending of the film, so I want to ask you about the ending. It's a little bit ambiguous, a bit open-ended, and it kind of begs the question, is there going to be a sequel?
People better go to the theater and pay tickets so that they can do a sequel. Yeah, we're hoping to get a sequel, you know. We already have the story in our head, so just pay up and we'll give you another one.
Spread the word, guys. I want to ask you also about your next projects. There's, speaking of sequels, there's also sort of an on-the-job too in the works. Can you tell us more about it? It's a TV show, am I correct?
Yeah, no. Originally, it started as a series for Hook. It's like a Netflix in Southeast Asia. It's also in the Philippines. It started as 5 episodes, but eventually we decided to do a film first. So there's an on-the-job 2 film, and then it's a complete film, but at the end of it, we're leaving some of the plot lines open to continue it into a 5-episode series, which you're gonna see online. So it's 7 hours worth of story. And just like by bus, it's like we shot ourselves on the foot again. On the job, it's not action, it's not heavy on action, it's a thriller, but there's just so many actors, so many characters. The writer is around there who, if I'm not mistaken, was the one who added all those characters. Michiko Yamamoto is there. So that's the difficult part.
Right. Anne, can I ask you about your next project as well, and turn to Brandon after that?
So I just finished shooting a film called Aurora. It's an official selection for the Metro Manila Film Festival this December.
It's anchored to here.
So the genre is elevated horror. It's a film by Direk Laranas.
Great. And Brandon, what are your next steps?
So
After San Diego.
after San Diego, I'll be defending my title at the end of the year. So I have a cutoff date where I start training camp 3 times a day. But Light Bus premieres nationwide in the Philippines August 1st. I start filming the next film August 2. So it's called Hawa.
Fast.
Yeah.
Very fast.
Game on. Let's do it.
All right. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. We still have a party going on next door, and I want to thank you all for coming. to this event. Thank you, Erik. We look forward to your next film.
Thank you,
Spread
everyone.
the word. The film's coming out on August 1st in the Philippines, August 10th in the US. Thank you, Anne, and
Thank you very
Ryan.
much for
We
having
look
us.
forward to your
Thank you
next
for
podcast.
watching.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, New York.